Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The original game came out in 2018, and I bought it and pretty much played it for an entire vacation, 8 hours a day. I love the medieval time period, and because of the architecture and the weapons, that game really hit home for me. The great thing about Warhorse Studios also, at the time, it was a Kickstarter back project, and you know that the love is really in there. The next game, though, another reason to love Warhorse. They didn't say anything. No leaks. It's not like Mass Effect. Every single November you get these little tidbits, which I love going through, but in the back of my mind I go, I wish they didn't say anything and then just do a release like Warhorse did, and then it just hits that much harder. You also have like Rockstar, which, it's pretty much leaking like a sieve. Not my idea of fun. I'd rather not know anything, so I really have to give Warhorse kudos for keeping everything under wraps, from like a janitor to the actors. No one said a thing, and I love them for it. So let's dive into this Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 information, because there's been a ton of information out there, from the reveal video, the trailer, to a bunch of people talking, giving interviews. So the trailer came out and it immediately felt like Kingdom Come with the cheesy intro.
It's been a while.
My first impression is more of the same, and that is good. We are getting a new locale, 2 actually. The facial animations have gotten an upgrade, and the graphics look better than ever. It's going to be exactly like KCDII, a game where you can just get lost in the beauty of the world, complete with rock formations, water, and wildlife. And of course, for me, one of the major attractions, castle life. And this time they got a whole city in the game. So KCD development started in the summer of 2019, and they kept it under wraps since then. Even the stuff they shot for the reveal in Kuttenborg, they attempted to ensure secrecy by shooting between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. But the people who were walking out at night quickly found out that it had to do with Kingdom Come Deliverance. KCD2 is a continuation of the first game and starts literally hours after Henry and Hans rode into the sunset in KCD1. KCD2 is designed with new players in mind, so you don't have to play KCD1 to know what's going on. However, you will do yourself a massive disservice by not buying that game. I'm just going to say that again. You have to buy it, you have to play it, you have to experience it, and then Kingdom Come 2 will just hit that much harder. Because it is also an emotional journey, in my opinion. Combat in the new game will be overhauled compared to KCD1, with weapons fitting different playstyles. So you can grab a mace or an axe for a more easy approach, or go with a sword where different stances and combos come into play, just like in the original game. So Henry grew from a boy to a man in KCD1 and will now grow from a man into a warrior in KCD2. He's still the same guy, but the stakes are higher and the fight's bigger in the sequel. One thing does carry over from KCD1, Henry still doesn't know how to swim.
Let's hope this water isn't too cold. You wouldn't want your pride and joy shrinking.
I'm more worried about it being too deep.
We will not be going back to the KCD1 map. In KCD2, we will be getting 2 maps. Trotsky Castle, which is surrounded by the Bohemian Paradise, and the second, Kuttenborg, which is a more urban setting. We start in Trotsky, as that is where Henry was traveling in KCD1, and the story will eventually bring you to the second map. You will, however, be able to travel between the two to finish side quests and the like. It's also the only loading screen there aside from loading into the game. The distance between the 2 maps is over 80 kilometers on current day roads, so there's a way to explain that loading screen there as well. To give a sense of size, Ratai was the biggest city in KCD1, and this is just a single street in Kuttenborg. The focus remained the same. Historical accuracy. KCD1 was more about local lords with their own problems in their villages, bandits attacking. KCD2 will have Henry and Hans being dragged into the fight between kings. Sigismund of Hungary is still attacking Bohemia, and the rightful king Wenceslaus IV is being abducted. So instead of being the son of a local blacksmith, you might end up dragged into a royal court. KCD2 is bigger and better in every way, with lots of stuff to look forward to. Whenever there's destruction in the game, there will be a cutscene. It's much like what happened in Skalitz in the first game. KCD2 is every bit as story driven as the first game, but with 2 more hours of cutscenes over the 3 that were in the first game. Because the stakes are higher in the second game, Henry quickly realizes that he can't do it by himself and he needs friends to stay alive. So KCD2 will have you form a band of rascals to do what needs to be done, but you will continue to play as Henry. Now the message Henry is carrying, the Otto from Berghof in Troske Castle, is asking if he's on the side of Sigismund or Wenceslaus IV. The reveal at the end of KCD1 changes a few interactions over the person was during KCD1. I'm not gonna spoil it. That's why you have to stop this video and play this game, the first game. You have to do it. There's no ifs or buts. If you're interested in the second one, support the developer by buying the first one. Mission clear. Now, like KCD1, there will be no seasons in KCD2. It was early summer in KCD1, and in KCD2 it is midsummer. Which then, of course, means that KCD3 is going to be at the end of summer or autumn, which would be cool. Seeing the changing the colors of the trees and stuff. Right? I don't know. This is just me hyping up the game and hoping for a third one. Because I already know it's going to be good. There's no way that it's not going to be good. If you like the first one, you're going to like this one 100%. Mutt the dog is returning as well and available as a companion right away. The game will also release with the English language first. Later, other languages will be added. The game will still run on CryEngine like the first game, but the game looks way better. The engine has been further optimized to fit Warhorse's needs. KCD1 still looks great in my opinion, and the forests are still beautiful in that game. It just looks better in KCD2. KCD2 will have a more smooth experience when it comes to fighting and a bunch of other stuff. Not to say that they're dumbing it down, but more seeing what needs to be done and doing it. Warhorse has put a lot of time in this, and that is made possible by a bigger team at their disposal this go around. Release should be this year in 2024, and that is an extremely good sign, because the hype is palpable. And there's not a ton of crazy competition towards the end of the year either. One of the cool things in KCD2 is that he is actually going to be able to blacksmith. The way that system will be set up is very similar to the alchemy bench with the herbs, pot, and grinder in the first game. It's just as deep, intricate, like you're really doing it instead of just pressing a button. Immersion is key in this game, so you have to grab the iron, bash it in specific places, you have to keep it warm, check the quality of the steel and the color, so when you finish your project, it actually feels like something you did. The first game was brutally hard, like I died, and I died a lot. You would go in, gung-ho, you're dead. You stay away, and you cheese them with arrows, which is what I am known for. You usually survive, but you can still freaking die. One-on-one, it's easier. But if you go against a group, you have to kind of try to peel these people away from each other and then take them on one by one. Great stuff. KCD2, however, will have crossbows and firearms to shoot the first guy, pull a sword, and then melee the second one. It's going to be great fun. Saviour Schnapps are also still there, which means that you just have to make that small investment to save. Brewing will be available earlier, but it does mean that there will be no save scamming without that investment. So essentially what it means is you have to get good. Now on firearms and crossbows, there will be no crosshair for the crossbow, just like with the bows in KCD1, but the crossbow does shoot a lot straighter than the bow does. They're small crossbows, which are easier to load, but not powerful. Medium crossbows, which already need a lever to reload. And then war crossbows, which are huge and use a two-handed lever to reload. More power equals more time to reload. The firearms will take longer still. KCD will not become a shooter. Now, KCD1 has a bunch of mods for fishing and setting up camps. KCD2, there has been no decision made right now. And that's okay, because the game isn't even out yet. And in my opinion, you gotta experience the original game before you even start thinking about mods. Punishments. Henry can become branded, and his brand will invoke reactions from the crowd. And before it heals, there is a debuff. The brand stays, and it will make thieving harder, but other people of the same walks of life will treat you better. Theresa, Henry's love, the most precious thing in the first game. You just have to wait for that one. They haven't given us any spoilers, but I think she will be back in the game personally. It just makes sense because that relationship is so meaningful in the first one. The music comes back with the same composer as well, and I freaking loved it in the first one, so the second one is going to be awesome, and I'm definitely going to be buying the full game with the music as well. Leveling is going to be very similar to the first game, so as soon as you do stuff more, you level up, but it'll be more in depth. Like in KCD1, there will be no children in KCD2. This is not something I will personally miss. And given the nature of the game, the inclusion of children would affect the game's rating as well. And it would also be a whole other subset of animations, clothes, and voice acting that need to be done, which is very time consuming to do right. There's going to be huge battles, and you saw that in the trailer. And it is going to be story driven, just like the first one, where nothing is happening, you get a cutscene, and then all hell breaks loose. Or the build up towards the full fight that is coming towards the end of KCD1, for instance. So the conclusion? I'm buying this day one. You better believe it. It's going to be freaking amazing. It's going to be more the same of KCD1. And I still play that game today. And I got over 100 hours. And you don't put over 100 hours in a game that you don't like. It's an amazing experience. You get lost in it. And especially if you love medieval times. The architecture, the weapons, the general ambiance. It's great. You can fight if you want to, but you can also just take a walk in nature. And that's what I love about the game. Just sitting still and just listening to the birds chirp, the water, everything. It is one of my favorite things to do in that game, to just take a load off and enjoy the countryside. And KCD2 looks absolutely amazing in these trailers. And I expect greatness. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below. And please, support Warhorse. I really enjoyed that game studio, and I hope they have great success with this and continued success. Because KCD2, the timeline, if you jump a little further, you get the Hussite Wars. They have some very spicy stuff coming up. So this game, Kingdom Come, it can go so much further. And they have so many more stories to tell after Henry's finished. And I hope they're going to be able to do that. And one of the ways to do that is support the studio. Buy this game. Buy the first one if you haven't yet. But then buy this one. If you like medieval stuff, this is going to be right down your alley. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below. As always, hashtag game for the sake of gaming. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I don't upload a lot, but when I do, I always have fun, and I love that conversation as well. So let's keep it going and keep the hype alive until this game comes out, and then hype it up some more afterwards. I'm beyond stoked. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.